Hi guys, how we doing? So, I got some great ideas, but I think my favorite, believe it or not, came from my mom. And her suggestion was to do warm tones on this that will pick up the candlelight, because I do plan to do the electronic candle thing. But we're going to do, obviously I have to do my spin on it. So, instead of just, reds, oranges, purples, things like that. Where did my metallics go? We're going to mix them with the metallics to tie into this. And obviously put my own flair on it a little bit. That's a little more orangey than I wanted, and not nearly as... Did get the metallic in there, but it's the wrong shade of red for my tastes. So we're going to go a little bit of a darker, warmer red. And I might actually even go a step further. Let's see. There we go. My dragon is hoarding paints now. I promise I'm not completely nuts. I do, there is a method to my madness. Let's see. Well, we got our red tone back. I think I still may darken that a little bit more, but we lost our metallic. I wonder if I have like a deep burgundy around here somewhere. Because I do want to bring this down just a little bit deeper without adding... Oh, that'll be a color we'll be using. I know what I'm looking for, I just have to find it. I know I usually do this stuff ahead of time, but I am not in my normal headspace today. I'm trying to do about a dozen different things at once. Kind of like that too. There we go. There's what I was looking for. I love when my paints seal themselves shut. Now, I want just a little hint more shimmer to that. And we're going to do this with a couple of different colors. There we go. And it's funny, I'm using really high-end, or reasonably high-end color pigments and really, really cheap dollar store gold. But we're not doing this just for the gold. It's actually for that little bit of shimmer that we want. And I think we have achieved. So basically there's not going to be any rhyme or reason to this. We're just going to kind of paint random leaves. The only ones, probably these guys down here and these guys up here. The two that kind of frame it out will be the same color. Everything else is going to be a little on the random side. Or as random as it gets with me. I like my patterns. And whether I intentionally do them or not, they do tend to appear on me. So that's always a possibility. I'm going to try and avoid the brown and super orangey tones because we don't want to just sit here and put it back to being the ugly mirror. That's no fun. That's not what we're trying to accomplish. It's more finding my balance. And I know you're not seeing much of that shimmer right at the moment, but I do promise you will see it. When it dries, it'll pull, hopefully from the candlelight, when I get the little flameless candle in there. But I definitely like the way that looks laid over the black. Let's see. Who do we want to paint next? I guess we'll please my pattern-loving brain and just make it match. I know I just said I was not going to do that, but, you know, when you're going to be looking at something on a very, very regular basis, you want it to be pleasing to your eye, and my brain loves a pattern. Probably more than just about anything. I like when things are symmetrical. My partner loves to use just how much my brain likes symmetrical when trying to hang things and stuff like that, because I can usually tell you really quickly if it's even a little bit off. So it's just kind of part of who I am. Go. So I kind of like the way this is going so far. I want the warmth without being too overly bright. Let me see what you guys are seeing. Make sure you're actually seeing what we're doing. I'm going to scoot you guys back just a teeny tiny hair there. There we go. Sorry if I weren't able to see that first set. As those are drying, I'm really starting to see the shimmer show even in my lighting back here, so I have a feeling it's actually going to be fantastic. I think it's kind of fitting that we're doing the autumn leaf colors now, considering that today is the first day I actually had to turn the heat on. Not so much because it's cold right now, but we do have gas heat, and it is supposed to get really cold tonight. We have our first frost advisory. Excuse me. And it's better to work any bugs out of your system before you actually need the heat. So we've got it on and set to where it'll kick on periodically today, but it won't go bonkers and, you know, heat us out of the house. But when I need it tonight, we'll know if there's any issues ahead of time. So far we've had no problems. Last year we did have to do a deep clean on it, so probably hadn't had that in a good long while. And I just went through and kind of touched a little bit and just softened it up in a couple of spots where it was a little bit blotchy. Might as well finish that task up real quick, right? Now, we're going to come around this way. And I really am enjoying this color already. And I'm not going to go crazy with a ton of colors. I think we're going to do this. I'll probably do a deeper, more like a burgundy. We will do a little bit of green. I actually came across a really pretty kind of orangey yellow that mixed with the gold I think will actually look very gold. Between that, I think that'll give a nice amount of life to it without being gaudy. Because Lord knows I love a little bit of gaudy, but that's out here. Gaudy's good for the creative brain, not so much for the relaxed. And out here is where I go to encourage the creative mind more than the relaxed. Out there, I want to be relaxed. I want to be spending time with my family. I want to be playing with my pets or begging them to stop screaming, depending on the day. There we go. I'm definitely liking that so far. There's a little spot I missed. Did I miss that on all four of these? Let's see. Yep. Hey, at least I'm consistent, right? I'm not crazy stressed about perfection on this, just basically trying to make it nice and pretty and reasonable. But I think these pieces that I said I wanted all the same, I think I want them to be this pretty red tone. And that'll kind of work since everything else that I've done has been outside. And we are once again out of the frame. How does this keep happening? There we go. Sorry about that, guys. This is not your normal shape. to be able to easily keep in frame all the time. It's a little tricky, but we're working with it, right? There we go. Trying to kind of finish up with the red to where we'll move on to the next set of colors. Though I do really like this color, and I think I want to use it more and more. As you can tell, one of my cockatiels has decided they are very offended by something. There's never any telling what that something might be, but something has offended them. Which we are still watching to see if we're going to end up with babies or not. I'd be honestly thrilled. It's going to be a lot of work, but you know what? Exotics are work. You don't have exotic pets without expecting a decent amount of it. I think it'll be fun. And we definitely will not be keeping them. I'll keep one. You gotta keep one. But the rest of them we will find homes for. Oops. There's my bit of paint on my hand. Which I do have a little bit of black paint on my thumb because earlier I came out and touched up a couple of spots where I missed with the black. Wasn't enough to make a video on, just needed to be done. Let's go ahead. Let me just peek and make sure. See, you would have missed that if I'd have continued. We may have to move back again, but for now, this should let you see this. At least today I'm not wearing a shirt from work that I would have to cover up and hide. It's a very sarcastic shirt today. This was a split-second decision. I decided it just looked like these needed to be red. There we go. Now I'm going to set this down for just a second, and we're going to pick this guy up and flip him around again. And bring it up so that you guys can actually see what we're doing. There go. So Deimos is doing well, if any of you are wondering. We are slowly but surely letting him out into the rest of the house, but more and more. He does periodically just kind of make a run back to the bedroom where he feels nice and safe and secure. It has all the sounds and smells that he's familiar with. But he does enjoy being out with us. He has decided he doesn't even seem to mind the dog, which Loki thankfully has not tried to jump on him since that one day, which is a big change. He's always tried to aggressively friend the cats, which when Hannah was still with us, earned him a few smacks. She was a no-nonsense kind of cat. I think poor Deimos right now would just absolutely be petrified if a giant tongue came out at him all out of nowhere. I think there's an old video about that happening to a cat somewhere. But we try not to do that to him. I wanted to move him inside before the winter. This was not how I wanted to do it. But, you know, at least I don't have to worry about him freezing. So there is that. Alright, so I'm going to center that again. I'm going to switch brushes. We're going to take a quick peek and see where we're going time-wise. And I think we have time to do just a little bit. Which this is a color I don't want a crazy amount of, so that'll work. And this one we're going to mix with silver. Oh, that's perfect. So this one's just going to be like a few here and there. I don't want a crazy amount of it. I just want it to be an added little bit. But that is a fantastic shade. I am definitely a fan of that. I am absolutely thrilled at this color. There we go. So we're making our progress here. Let me make sure we're staying within your line of sight here. As I really should just move the gazing ball. You know what? We're gonna do exactly that. There we go. Quick and easy fix to the problem, right? Now, I'm just looking to where my next leaf is, making sure you guys can actually see it. Oh, sounds like Loki's got some opinions. Sounds like my wonderful other half is taking Loki for walkies. Which, with this weather, it is not always easy to convince him to go outside. Because he does not like rain. And he does not like cold. Which, go figure, he loves snow. Let's see. There we go. And I think we're going to stop after this color. And we'll come in tomorrow and do the other 2 or 3 that we decide to do. I do want just an empty brush for a second. That is not the empty brush I wanted. I have 3 dozen of you. I just had a little glob of red paint on the inside of that I did not want to hit with my green. I'm definitely going to have to remember this green with this silver for future projects because this is a really fantastic color. And I think I definitely am going to have to do a deeper red somewhere because as this dries, it's actually taking this really pretty kind of orangey gold coppery color that I am a fan of. But we don't want to go too far back into the yellow orange odd color palette that it was in before. Actually, I may have to do a second video today just to do the oranges and reds on the little guy. Wouldn't be such a terrible thing to get 2 videos in one day, right? So that is all I'm going to do of the green on this one. I think while I do have my colors handy, what I'm going to do is go ahead and stop here. And I'm going to take a little break and I'll make a second video with the smaller mirror. And you guys will just get a 2-for-1 day. So I will talk to you guys later.